How about this one? This one seems like a nostalgia video, and you know, it could work. This is growing up in the early 2010, which you know, in 2010 I was 12, so I guess that counts. And you know, I should have some nostalgia maybe. Let's see. By Childish Destino.
The 2010s, a time that doesn't feel that long ago, until you remember that 2019 was 5 freaking years ago. But in this video,
It's been 6, 7 years now. I mean, 2010 was 17 years ago, 16 years ago. That's crazy.
we're specifically talking about the early 2010s, from 2010 to 2014. And I'm counting 2014 just because, why not? Just watch any music video, TV show.
That's actually like a good place because yeah, like that was when I was in high school and I finished high school in 2014. So yeah.
From the early 2010s, and you'll get a general sense of what people wore, or old YouTube videos too. Skinny jeans that came in a variety of colors, snapback hats, shoes with these big tongues, popular haircuts look like this, and Cookie Monster mustaches were popular for no reason. And at every Tilly's you'd find these bracelets, and this was supposed to be for breast cancer awareness. And silly bands, let's not forget about silly bands too. This was just the general fashion sense, and if you want more examples, just look at all the Little Big Planet characters that people made back in the early 2010s. More and more people went from having phones like this to this.
I do remember this.
That
Yeah.
people made back in the early 2010s. More and more people.
This kind of like this was Samsung, but I remember like my dad had like a BlackBerry one. They were pretty weird. Like you kind of like swipe the screen and you have this keyboard. I mean, it was kind of interesting, but that was definitely like just before smartphones were really popular. Yeah.
Went from having phones like this to this. The games I remember playing on early smartphones were Battle Bears, Minecraft Pocket Edition Lite, Angry Birds, Cut the Rope, and of course Flappy Bird. Now Flappy Bird was unavoidable. Everybody in their
Never played it because I didn't have a, like I had a phone pretty early on. It was like a flip phone Motorola, but I didn't have like a phone internet until like I think 2016 or something. So the only game I played were the ones that were already on the phone, like Snake and Minesweeper or something. And there was one, for some reason, there was a Prince of Persia game on my phone. It was a nice little like 2D platformer, I guess. It was kind of fun, yeah. It came with the phone for some reason.
mother was talking about this game. People made skits on YouTube and Vine.
Bird, a game I used to own, but then I lost my temper, now I need a new phone.
And Vine was a great app. You only had 6 to 7 seconds to make a video and people got really creative when they made them. And at the very least, they were entertaining. And if you used Vine or watched Vine compilations on YouTube back in 2014, a song went viral that summer and people made Vines with this part of the song.
I feel like, you know, I never watched Vine on the site itself, but I watched compilation or something. And, you know, I feel like Vines were like not that bad. And then came like TikToks and I feel like they're pretty bad. Like Vines were really not that bad, you know? Because as you said, like people actually try to be creative. Yeah.
I have gonorrhea.
When'd you find out?
About a week ago.
Bro, watching TV was actually good. Cartoon Network had some of the greatest shows that Gen Z still looks back at fondly to this day. Adventure Time, Amazing World of Gumball, Star Wars The Clone Wars, and Regular Show. Bro, Regular Show is not a regular show, and that's why it was so good. It wasn't just any regular, old, boring show. And it's not fair that Star Wars The Clone Wars didn't get to have 8 full seasons. It was supposed to, until Disney. And Disney Channel had some good shows too. Good Luck Charlie, Ant Farm, Phineas and Ferb, and many other shows that aired at that time. And don't lie to me and say that you've never tried to impersonate Perry the Platypus. I know damn well you've all done it once. Around 2010, 2011, they would play these edits called Remix, which were these old Mickey Mouse cartoon clips made to sync with the song. And the songs that were a part of this short-lived series included all of these songs. Rocketeer, Another One Bites the Dust, and I Got a Feeling are some of these songs that I can definitely remember playing on the TV back in 2010. Nickelodeon was the channel I watched the least, but they still had some memorable shows like iCarly, Victorious, and
This is like a very like American centric, right? I've never watched any of those cartoons or any of those live action shows. Literally don't know any of them, yeah. Like in 2010 on French TV, what would I watch? Because at this time I was still watching TV. I think I stopped watching TV like 2012 maybe or something. So at the time I was still watching TV, and I guess at the time 2010 I would be watching some of the anime on TV. There was One Piece, Fairy Tail, Bleach, Dragon Ball. Outside of that, I don't really know, to be honest, what I was watching outside of that, because that's like the only thing that I remember like caring a lot about, and I can't remember the other stuff I watched, because I think, you know, you just watch stuff because there was nothing else to watch, even if you don't like it. So I think I was mostly playing games and not watching stuff outside of anime.
Boyfriend is a damn catchy song, and don't be surprised if you hear me singing this song unironically. To all my fellow Boomerang enjoyers, pat yourself on the back for watching Boomerang. This channel was underrated, and I was introduced to some great classic cartoons like Hong Kong Phooey and Johnny Quest. The most memorable parts of Boomerang wasn't the shows, it was the transitions and shorts that they had. Look at how much work they put into these transitions. They didn't have to do this, but they did. And guess what? They had another set of transitions. But there is one short that looks down upon them.
We got a gorilla for sale, Magilla gorilla for sale.
Nick at Night and T-Nick were the other channels I used to watch. Nick at Night only played at night. They would air live action and cartoon shows from the 90s. The only live action show that I actually remember watching and enjoying was Full House. Very solid show, just can't say the same for this one. The 90s cartoons were fantastic. Hey Arnold, Cat Dog, Rugrats. Hey Arnold was probably the best show, in my opinion. And once I felt...
But I'm realizing I'm not tuned to cartoons. I've mostly never been that into the style, right? You know, there's some that I absolutely love, right? I mean, I used to love The Simpsons, South Park I love, BoJack Horseman, but a lot of the Wendy's here I've never actually watched. I know the name, but never watched. In Japan, AKB and Arashi songs, crazily many songs, and we listen to all of them. Fair enough, yeah. That was around the time of that one big song from AKB, Fortune Cookie, I think.
Fell asleep with Nick at Night on. The very next morning, Teen Nick would be playing because they played on the same channel. And one show that I remember watching was the reruns of Zoe 101. But another thing that I remember from Team Nick, the top 5 music videos or top 10 music videos. And some of those music videos or songs that I remember include Rather Be, Cool Kids, She Looks So Perfect, and many more. If you watch Cartoon Network, you know that around 8 p.m. Adult Swim. It was the one channel you knew you weren't supposed to watch. But let's all be honest here. We definitely watched this in secret, or at least tried to. Some of the shows that I used to enjoy watching when I wasn't supposed to be watching them was American Dad, Family Guy, and Robot Chicken. And as a kid,
I've seen a little bit of American Dad. It was on French TV as well.
not like King of the Hill, but it's grown on me because I've grown myself, physically and mentally. And trust me, King of the Hill is one of the best shows that I've ever seen. There was quite a lot of movies too, like the continuation of the Twilight series, Toy Story 3, Tangled. I saw Tangled and Toy Story 3 in theaters back in 2010. And do you know what else was in theaters in 2010? A Sprite commercial. And not just any Sprite commercial, the Drake Sprite commercial. Damn, bro. I still can't believe 2010 was 14 years ago. And Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace in 3D. Yeah, that's right. You probably didn't know or even
I mean, isn't this around the time of like Avatar in 3D?
remember that The Phantom Menace came out in 2012 in 3D. That was my very first time watching a Star Wars film in theaters. And I'm not sure if drive-in theaters still exist, but if there's one close by to you, you need to go to one. Because instead of buying the overpriced movie snacks, which is still an option,
Damn.
you can bring your own snacks like a bag of chips and not worry about hiding it.
Okay, gang, keep your eyes open.
Open for what? We're sneaking in.
And you could be in the comfort of your car or sit in a foldable chair with a blanket over you outside. These are way better than normal theaters besides the listening experience. Sometimes a movie would be a bit hard to hear. Almost a 10 out of 10 experience. Every year between 2010 and 2014 had amazing music to offer. The music of this era was full of amazing songs. And it sucks that I can't just list every song or artist that I remember listening to because that would take too damn long. And we'd be here for hours. Some of the artists I remember playing during this time was full of Drake, Nicki Minaj, Kesha, Pitbull, David Guetta, Flo Rida, Calvin Harris, and of course Justin Bieber and Taylor Swift. Here's a list of some of my most memorable songs of each year. For 2010, it was Find Your Love, Like a G6, Rocketeer, Dynamite, Billionaire, TikTok, Nothing on You. We'll do 2 honorable mentions for each year. And the honorable mentions for 2010 go out to Teach Me How to Dougie and Not Afraid. And now the next year, 2011, Black and Yellow, International Love, Headlines, and of course, Party Rock. Man, this song was so popular. You just had to be there. I remember my elementary school had shuffling contests just for the fun of it. And the honorable mentions for that year include In the Dark and Hold It Against Me. And 2012, Call Me Maybe, Thrift Shop, Gangnam Style, Feel So Close, Good Time. And the honorable mentions include Payphone and Somebody That I Used to Know. And now,
honorable mention. Somebody That I Used to Know was like the biggest song, seriously. I mean, spammed every minute on radios in France.
in 2013, Can't Hold Us, Power Trip, Get Lucky, Hold On We're Going Home, Safe and Sound, and the honorable mentions go out to Alive and Sweater Weather. And finally for 2014, Summer, Trap Queen, Love Me Harder, Boom Clap, and I Don't Mind. And the honorable mentions go out to Fancy and She Looks So Perfect. The 2010s was the decade when I started gaming a lot more. During the years 2010 and 2011, I mainly played on the Wii and the original Xbox. The Wii was mainly games that I played back in the 2000s, and there was also some new games that I never played before. Rayman Rabbids 2. That game was just a bunch of mini games, but my cousin Jack and I loved this game so much. Smoke on the Water was our favorite song in the rhythm mini game that they had. And when I heard the original song many years later, it felt so weird not hearing the higher pitched voice singing the song. Another game that I loved playing was
Crazy
Wipeout
Rabbits
the
is gonna
Game,
bet
the
today.
game based off of the show of the same name. I mainly played the game with my roommate Cal on his Wii, but sometimes when Jack and Norman came over to my house, they would play the game with us, and man, the timeless memories I have from dying of laughter playing this game. And of course there was Just Dance as well. I also had an original Xbox my mom just gave me out of nowhere in the middle of 2010. The games that I played on it was Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 and NCAA 08. I wasn't playing on the Xbox for probably more than 2 hours a day because I just enjoyed playing with my Lego Star Wars sets just a lot more. And I remember this memory from mid to late 2011. During soccer practice, my teammates would sometimes talk about video games, and I remember joining into their conversation talking about how much fun Battlefront was on the OG Xbox, while they were talking about Halo on the Xbox 360. But as far as I can remember, some of them, mainly the older teammates, knew what I was talking about and agreed with me. Not too long after,
I kind of had the same version. For me, it was like around 2011 when Skyrim came out. You know, for me, that was like the best game of all time, right? I bought it and I played it literally like hundreds of hours. But obviously, all the kids at school were into Call of Duty, right? And so, you know, like I was obviously like the weird one talking about this fantasy killing dragon game when all of them were talking about like, you know, the new Call of Duty and shooting people online. But I never had like internet at the time, so I couldn't play any game online. So for me, yeah, like Skyrim was the best thing ever, but I felt kind of alone, you know. I felt kind of alone.
I got a PS3 for Christmas. I played on that console as much as I could since it was at my dad's house. You know, every other weekend. 2 Christmases. I didn't have that many games on PlayStation 3, but the main games that I played was Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Little Big Planet 1, Little Big Planet 2, and Minecraft. I love the online multiplayer. When I played zombies, I couldn't play solos, unless if it was Dead Ops Arcade. Zombies by yourself, especially as a kid, was horrifying, and it was a no-brainer that I played in public zombie matches. The memories that I've made are so fun to look back at. Like, for example, when everyone was downed and the last guy had to clutch up, and when he clutches, everyone would give this dude so much praise and friend request.
Huh.
Damn it, Seneca, you're awesome. Dude,
Awesome.
I love you. You're my friend.
The Easter egg songs were straight up amazing. So amazing that I'm pretty sure I bought some of the songs on iTunes and listened to them through my iPod Shuffle. Then there was multiplayer. When I played Black Ops 1 multiplayer, I loved the party games. The COD point system made it so much more risky and rewarding. And if you got in the top 3, you'd make a lot more money. And if
I really feel like I missed out again. Like, you know, I was a big fan of the Call of Duty games. Like on PS2, I loved the first 3. And then on PS3, I had World at War, Modern Warfare 1 and 2, and Black Ops, but it was for the campaign, right? I mean, again, call me the weirdo, right? But for me, it was like, since I didn't have the internet, I only got this game for the campaign, and I loved them for the campaign, and so I never actually experienced like the fun of playing them online. The only time I managed to play online with my PS3 was one time we had a neighbor who had some internet, and he was okay to share it with us for like a month, because after that he said enough, because I guess it took too much from him. But at the time I played basically Battlefield 3, I think, and that was the only time I was able to play online back with my PS3, and it was amazing. But in the end, I never actually experienced like much of like the console multiplayer like era of that time. About a month and that's it, only one game. And sometimes I kind of wish I did, right? Because at the time, then I got onto the internet, right? By 2012 or something. And I was watching so many YouTubers who did like Battlefield and Call of Duty videos. But myself, I never really played it online. And I kind of wish I did, I mean, same thing with like World of Warcraft or something. It's kind of like, I feel like I missed out on like a big side of the gaming landscape by not really being part of that. I mean, most of me playing games has been solo, forever alone.
you didn't make it into the top 3, you'd lose money. And I still remember telling people in game chat to double down, and people wouldn't always listen.
Yeah, no response to you. Come on, do it. Double down.
But some of my favorite party game modes include gun game, sharpshooter, and sticks and stones. And I still remember I would try to throw my tomahawk across the map in the hopes that I would actually get someone with it, like in those old clips on YouTube. But unfortunately, I've never been able to accomplish that. And on Black Ops 2, I didn't play too much multiplayer up until mid-2015. But man, when I started playing multiplayer, it was the best. Well-balanced game and fun overall. My cousins Norman and Jack had a PS3 and an Xbox 360. The PS3 was pretty much Norman's, and the 360 was Jack's. And the 360 only had one game that I really liked and pretty much Norman.
Man, just like a little thing, right? A PS3 with 160 gigabytes of space. At the time it was enough, right? But it's kind of crazy to think, right? Like these days there's so many games that are like close or over 100 gigabytes. I mean, with 160 I don't even know if you could install Red Dead 2. And isn't there like some modern Call of Duty that are like bigger than this? So you could not even install them on the console? That's crazy.
And the 360 was Jack's. And the 360 only had one game that I really liked and wanted to play, which was Modern Warfare 3. And I remember at the time that I played Modern Warfare 3, which was back in its prime, 2012, I mainly played TDM, Spec Ops, and Infected. And Spec Ops Survival was fun. It was my substitute for zombies. But Infected was fun. I remember I would always group up where everybody else was, because numbers advantage, and sometimes it was a spot that the Infected couldn't reach as easily, like sitting on the catwalk in Dome. Sometimes when I came over to their house, Norman would sometimes let me play on his PS3, where I'd play Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1 and 2, World at War, Battlefield, Bad Company 2, etc. with the stereo Pulse headset on. And most people who played video games didn't have stereo headsets, or have them plugged into the monitors or anything. And sometimes Jack, Norman, and I would all sit together and play some Little Big Planet 2. And whether it was story mode or community levels, we had so much fun playing that game. And I enjoyed that game so much that I decided I wanted to get into it. And I went with the first game because I cared about playing the game in order. And I was hooked as soon as I got access to the multiplayer. And I met many people and befriended them, spending our time playing community levels, late night talks, just chilling in the pod, just talking about life, similar to those late night party chats that we have nowadays that get all deep and philosophical, except for kids and young teens. And the countless hours I spent on the moon, either goofing off or just trying to make a level. But one of the other things that made Little Big Planet so memorable was its soundtrack. So amazing that I bought a few of these songs off of iTunes and listened to them on my iPod Shuffle. And this soundtrack is better than amazing. It's freaking legendary. Another game with the legendary soundtrack was Minecraft. Now I got into Minecraft very late into my active PS3 years. I spent my time on creative and survival mode.
It's one of those things where like I cannot imagine playing Minecraft with a controller. I mean, or like with some people play it on phone, right? With like tactile playing. I cannot imagine playing it like that. That sounds absolutely insane to me, right? For me, the first time I played it, it was like in the small village I lived in. We had like some guy and his family, and the guy was like really into computer and stuff like that. So he had like a big computer room for all his kids and others, right? And it was around like 2010 or 11. One time the kids invited us to play with them Minecraft, and I didn't even know the game because again I wasn't on the internet yet or anything, and I don't think the game had blown up fully yet. I think it was around 2010. And yeah, I remember like the first time I played Minecraft. It was one of an experience. I mean, I'd never played anything like this, like at first I thought like it looks weird, but then once we started playing and you dig like a cave in the side of a hill or something, it was just the craziest thing. And then I think maybe like a year later I got a PC, and that was built by the dad of that family, and he also like put Minecraft on it. A cracked version, of course, and I was able to play it a lot more. And then I was obsessed for like a couple of years, right? I played it a lot from like 2011 to 2016, I think. Yeah, all that said, that I can't imagine playing it like with a controller.
pretty evenly. It's also where I met some of my friends you've probably seen in my videos, like Tyman, Anthony, and Connor. And whenever I hear C418's music,
Splatoon, no.
especially the creative mode music, it always takes me
Never
back to the
played
days of
Splatoon.
just being a kid, building a city or house, or the Five Nights at Freddy's Pizzeria with friends. I believe it was the very first survival world that I had. I built this giant wooden house. It was kind of more modern looking, and everybody that joined was always impressed with it. It was basically like a hotel. I had a few rooms for people to live in, and some of these new people that joined in would get a room. It was like a streamer house, but in Minecraft, and well before streamer house was even a thing, because this was like 2014. I was also one of the very rare few people that had a PlayStation Vita, and I played Little Big Planet and Black Ops Declassified, which you probably didn't know existed, Minecraft, Tearaway, and Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. Little Big Planet, Black Ops Declassified, and Minecraft were all multiplayer games, which was where I spent most of my time playing. And the reason I got Minecraft on PS3 was because of Minecraft on Vita. And I also used to watch a lot of YouTube on it as well. It was where I would watch Lego Star Wars stop motions, Vanoss, Venturian Tale, PewDiePie, Dragonic Fire, Mr. PS Vita reviews, Roblox and Minecraft videos, and many more. And you probably don't know who Dragonic Fire or Mr. PS Vita reviews are, since they weren't anywhere near as big as the other names listed. But what they had in common was somewhat similar content they made. For example, Dragonic Fire had a Little Big Planet series where he would play with fans and they would just play community levels, while Mr. PS Vita reviews would play Minecraft PlayStation Vita edition with fans as well. And I remember I wanted to join and appear in their videos so badly. All in all, the 2010s was a great time to grow up in, a time I will always cherish for the rest of my life. And I know I'm not alone in that. And comment anything that I may have missed.
Obviously, like, you know, I'm sure everybody will say the same, right? Like, a lot of people, except if you were born during a time of war or something, you might say that, like, when you grew up was, like, the best time in some way, right?
Because I can only talk
It's the
about so
classic.
much in one video. And I hope you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, because I sure did. And eventually, I'll upload another video about nostalgia. But remember, this channel is where I upload videos of me being an epic gamer. Just keep that in mind. Now the video ends.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I relate to all the same thing as him. I mean, all the cartoon stuff I haven't watched myself, but yeah, again, I mean, you know, things were pretty complicated for me growing up, like a lot of bad stuff. But you know, there was also a lot that I obviously look forward to look back nostalgically on, right? Like, it wasn't all bad, you know, and most of what I look back on as good is like video games and anime, basically. Were you planning to do YouTube at that time? I mean, the first time I did YouTube was actually like already at that time. The first YouTube video I ever posted was in 2012, I think. It was a Sword Art Online anime music video. Yeah, it's I can't find it anymore. I think it was on a YouTube account that was deleted by now. But the first video I posted was that, yeah. And you know, I didn't really like think I would do a lot of YouTube or anything. That was just like a one-time thing. But actually, I did a few AMV at the time. But yeah. And then the first time I did like commentary video for games was in 2014, I think. Yeah. And then the first time I did reaction was in 2017. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. Yep. So yeah, good nostalgia video. Sometimes it's nice to watch a nostalgia video, right? I think.